Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kyle. Thanks for being here today. I kind of don't know where I'm going to go with this video, but I feel like I want to talk and I need to talk and share what I've been going through and what's been on my mind and kind of help myself solidify things or figure things out. And so I'm just gonna kind of see where this video goes as it is going. I just want to start out by saying I've had such an amazing month of June and have been filled with so many blessings and privileges and opportunities to experience joy and feel connected and be surrounded by people that I really care about and who really care about me. And I'm just so inherently grateful and thankful to even be allowed to exist and to have the experiences that I get to have and live in a way that feels open and feels right. I feel like there's this theme that's been coming up in my life recently about authenticity and being open and what it means to be open. And I feel like when I first started this channel, I had this idea about like what it means to be open and authentic and to be honest and to be able to like say anything and tell anything and like share your secrets and know that most of them are just stories and, you know, it doesn't really matter what we share in the long run, and that I never really feel like I have to hide anything or that there's something that I need to keep secret or that there's something that I can't express. So that was like my mindset at the beginning of this, just very honest and open, and like it really just didn't matter to me what I shared because I felt like I could share anything, and I do still feel that way. But now I feel like I'm learning who and what is allowed to partake in my vulnerability with me. I think I've really learned how to be honest, really learned how to be open and vulnerable and to communicate my feelings and to honor my feelings and to be true to myself. And at the beginning, I kind of was just doing that willy-nilly and just like doing it with anyone and being honest and open without regard to like possibly protecting myself in a way. And I feel like in the past month, I've been learning that like, yes, I can be authentic and vulnerable with whoever I want to be, but that doesn't mean that I should be doing it with anyone and everyone. And I think that vulnerability is really earned through friendship and through relationship. And so if I feel like my honesty and my open communication isn't being valued or is being disregarded, that I don't need to engage in that manner with whoever I feel is not worthy of that. And it's a really difficult thing to navigate too, because coming from these beliefs of love and that we are all worthy, you know, I don't think that there's anyone who's inherently not worthy of what I have to say or what I have to share, and vice versa. I don't think that there's anyone out there who isn't worthy of an open ear and an open heart, of course. But I feel like I've just had a few different situations where I don't feel like my vulnerability, my open honesty, my who I am is being reciprocated by another person, and knowing when to stop trying in a way. Like many of us, I have been hurt in the past, and as much as I don't want to carry things, I still do. And I think it's really important that when you are hurt, that you allow those feelings and those emotions to take up space and to value them and to value that experience of going through that, and knowing that we have so many lessons and opportunities that will come out of pain and hurt and frustration and emotions that aren't necessarily negative, but things that we just don't have a joyful time going through all the time. So for me, I'm trying to understand how I can navigate this feeling and this desire of kind of like clinging on to this hurt and allowing this hurt to be felt and to be heard and to be seen, but also balancing the growth and the opportunity and the lesson and the experience that I'm getting from these situations that present themselves to me. So, I mean, I have no desire to ever stop living with an open heart or stop being vulnerable or not being vulnerable when people are asking me to be vulnerable or wanting me to show up. And, you know, that's how I live. That's how I want to live my life. And I feel very committed to that. But I think sometimes when you are continuously showing up with an open heart and trying your best and wanting things to be the best versions of whatever possible reality that could exist, and that reality just isn't coming into fruition, I think that's the moment that boundaries start to come into place and things start to shift. You know, if we're continuously trying to be vulnerable and continuously trying to be seen and heard and understood, I think that's all very beautiful and very necessary in all aspects of our life. But at a certain point, when you feel like you've been trying very hard and it's not being listened to or heard or seen, that's when you start to have to put boundaries into place, so that way you can remain open-hearted and continue to live in this open way, but still protect yourself from experiences and interactions that don't serve you the way that they should be serving you. And I think that's just a fact of life. Like, you know, we're not going to get along with everybody, and not everything is going to be picture perfect and fulfilling all the time. And it's just, sometimes it does feel really difficult and really heavy to navigate those spaces, especially with people that you care about or have cared about, or that you have connection with. But just remembering that compassion for yourself and compassion for others, and knowing that you need to do what is best for you in order to serve your highest self, because when you're serving your highest self, you serve everyone else's highest self as well. This is what I wrote in my journal, so I'm just going to read it out loud because it seems easier. Taking the lesson from the experience, seeing the growth, but also still holding space for the hurt and the pain that I felt. The lesson: stop being so attached to people in an unhealthy way that isn't serving anybody. It's not serving me, it's not serving them. At this moment, I can see the lesson, I can feel the lesson, but I can feel myself coming into the lesson. It's a beautiful lesson. I can see this lesson deeply healing my life. I've been training for this lesson, and I'm ready to receive its full healing power. And at the same time, I still need to speak the pain of coming into this lesson. It's a very weird thing to balance, because I can easily see myself leaning into both extremes, feeling fully healed and feeling fully hurt. But remembering that space in the middle where both of these truths exist, and knowing that I don't have to be swayed in either direction. I can allow both to be true and honor both experiences, maybe even allowing the beauty of this duality to allow the release of experience itself, clearing a channel for joy, peace, and gratitude. It's been a beautiful day, and it continues to grow in richness. I feel like I've been navigating that middle space for a few weeks now, and it is getting better, but I have to take these moments to remind myself, to show myself, and recognize that it is getting better. Because over the long run, it feels like, oh, I'm still dealing with the same problem. I'm still having the same struggle and the same anxiety about this issue. But in reality, I can see the ways in which I'm growing, and I need to take those moments to point them out to me, so that way I know and remember that it's all very worth it, and I'm putting in the work and I'm doing the hard things in order to see myself through to the other side. So for me, and I think a lot of us, living in the imagination is much more painful than reality. And I'm getting very, very good at pulling myself out of the stories that I create. I always create these dramas in my head between me and other people where we're arguing or yelling at each other, or I'm telling them something and like trying to shut them down in some type of way, or I'm being shut down in some type of way. And I live in my imagination until it gets bigger and bigger and starts like to consume me. And I think in the past, I really let those imaginative scenarios exist in reality. But now I am getting really good at recognizing and being aware of when I'm starting to do that storytelling and pulling myself out of that story and telling me like, whoa, 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 okay, like stop, just stop, and come back to the present, come back into reality where this fictional scenario has never happened, it doesn't exist, and probably will never happen. So I'm getting really good about pulling myself out of those stories. And honestly, as I've been paying attention to myself, pulling myself out of those stories, I tell myself stories all day. I would say at least like 8 or 10 times a day I can like catch myself pulling myself out of a drama that I've created in my head. And recognizing that and being aware of that, it's very easy to be hard on yourself and being like, oh my God, like, why am I always doing this? Like creating these scenarios and these dramas and making myself feel this way and making this harder than it needs to be. Or I can, take myself the other way and be very kind and compassionate to myself and really recognize the growth in being able to recognize that I'm doing that as many times as I need to throughout the day, and being proud of myself for being able to recognize that, and being proud of myself for just trying my best. So just using the present moment as a tool in order to remember that I am loving awareness and remembering who I am and where I come from, and pulling myself out of those imaginative stories is it's a lot, and it feels so constant sometimes, but I know that I'm on the right path. Another idea that I've had that's kind of like intertwined with all of these things that I'm talking about is like decentering someone else from my life, and on the same token, recentering myself to live my life, and trying to allow my mind to only exist here in a capacity that removes myself from these imaginative scenarios and dramas that I create. I think sometimes we can get so wrapped up in the scenarios or situations that we're presented with in life that our mind starts to exist in 2 different places. And just remembering that we can pull our mind back to exist in just one place and exist within ourselves and live our story and live our life, and not live the life of someone else or live a life that is intertwined with someone else's, and live our singular life. I think that's like a very difficult thing to do as well, when your life may have been intertwined with someone else's for years, and time doesn't exist. But when you spend 3, 4, 5, 10 years living with your mind in 2 different places, it's not going to be a snap of the fingers to refocus your mind to live just your life and not live someone else's. So that's something I'm also bringing compassion towards, and understanding that, this is going to take time. I feel like I've been trying to do this unconsciously for a few months now, but I'm now bringing my consciousness into it and bringing my awareness into it. And, I know that it's going to take a few more months, maybe even a year, to fully pull my mind back into living my own life and being focused with what's in front of me and not allowing my mind to live someone else's life or to live in these dramas and these scenarios that don't exist here in this reality, in this present moment. I know where I want to be internally and what the, I guess, long-term goal is for my mental stability. So just keeping that visualization going and knowing what my end goal is and who I want to be and how I want to carry myself and how I know I can exist around other people in a way that is best for all of us. And staying with my practices, staying with my meditation, my journaling, and remaining open and knowing that everything is going to be okay, and to keep pushing through and keep trying. And yeah, it's all the loving awareness is boiling up and finding the balance and everything, and taking my time, using my breath, and trying my best. Okay, this is maybe quite a rambly video, but I didn't really know what I wanted to say, and I was figuring it out as I went along. And yeah, so I hope there was something here that resonated with you that you can take along with you on your journey. I would love to hear your thoughts about what it means to be open to you, and maybe times that you find you've maybe regretted being open or had trouble feeling open or not wanted to be open. And I don't know, the journey is so complex and different for all of us that I want us all to be here to help each other figure this out. And yeah, so I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. But I will see you in the next video. Bye.